and welcome to the DIY Creative. I'm Robin, and for this tutorial we will be taking these glass bulbs and turning them into these beautiful acrylic poured ornaments. I love to do acrylic pouring on canvas and create these beautiful paintings, which I can show you my technique on how I do acrylic pours in a future DIY creative tutorial. So don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way you get notifications whenever I post a tutorial. But I love to do acrylic pours, and so I thought I would do some new ones for my tree this year and show you how I do them and have some fun along the way. So let's get started. Okay, for supplies on this project, you will need some glass bulb ornaments. You will need a piece of foam and something to prop up your ornament with, which when you're propping up your ornament, you want it to float above the foam and not touch it. Which these craft popsicle sticks, whatever you want to call them, they worked perfectly for these 3.25 inch bulbs, but I have these 4-inch ones and it needed something a little bit more. So I have these old chopsticks that I had turned into a craft supply, and so it worked perfectly for that. But just find something that you're only going to use for a craft supply, and then also it's going to work for, helping prop up these bulbs. And next, you're going to want acrylic paint, and I have various colors over here that we're going to work with. Also, you're going to need some Floetrol, and the Floetrol helps to level the paint. It also helps with the consistency. When you're doing acrylic pours, you don't want thick paint, and you want a good flow. It says flow on the bottle, so you want a good flow of consistency on your paint, and so this helps to bring that to that consistency that you want. Also, we're going to use water. This is just regular tap water. You're also going to need some gloves to help protect your hands because this project's going to get a little bit messy. Also, you want to protect your surfaces, and so I covered my surfaces up. I have this old shoebox lid, and so it works perfectly for catching the paint. I'm also wearing an apron, and I'm wearing clothes that I don't care if paint gets on them, which it could happen and it has happened in the past. So I just wear some clothes that I just don't care that gets paint on them. Also, for supplies, we're going to do a clear coat afterwards on these, so that way it brings out the paint, because usually the paint dries on an acrylic pour, it's going to be really matte and not as vibrant as whenever you first did the pour. So we're going to go ahead and do a clear coat afterwards, so it brings that vibrance back of the colors. First step you want to do is clean your glass ball ornaments with some rubbing alcohol and get any fingerprints, oils, things like that. The rubbing alcohol just helps clean it off. Make sure it's dry. We also are going to do some of these paper mache stars that I found, and I thought it'd be kind of cute to do like a little experiment, see how those turn out. After you clean your ornaments off, you want to go ahead and start mixing your colors. And you don't want this kind of consistency of paint with paint pouring, acrylic pouring. You want to make it like I've heard like honey, kind of like honey. So you want to make it a thinner consistency so it's easier to pour. And I've tried different brands of acrylic paints. Some are thinner than others, but I'm going to show you an example of how I create that consistency that I'm looking for in acrylic pouring. So this is a thicker based acrylic, and so what you want to do is you want to take your Floetrol, and I do about half, like one part paint, 1 part Floetrol, or 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol, depending on how thick the paint is. I'm thinking like that's how I work it. And I went ahead and did like 2 squirts of that. We're gonna take a craft stick here, and you want to stir that up. And we're getting there. We're getting to a good thinner consistency than it was. It was way thicker. So now, see, that's still too thick. When it falls off the spoon like that and it doesn't fall off easy, that's too thick. So we're gonna add just a little bit more Floetrol and then stir that in. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of water. And water you don't want a lot of, just because water breaks down the binders in the paint. And what happens in that case, it can cause your paint to flake off or come off of the piece that you're working on. And you definitely don't want that happening. So don't use a lot of water, just a little bit. We're not doing a whole bunch, so. And that's getting a really good consistency. That's good, and that's getting good. And so you want it kind of like the consistency of this a little bit, to where it's like flowing a little bit easier. And we're almost there. So we're gonna add just a tiny bit more water. And I think that's good. We're pretty good on that one. I might add just a little bit more Floetrol. Okay. Yep, that's good. That's a really good consistency. Also, besides those colors, you want to go ahead and create a base, which is the same thing. It's just the same thing that we did, but I want to go ahead and cover this ornament with the white. I call it like a blanket or a base. And what you want to do is create a base, so that way the paint will flow around the ornament and go down and around, instead of just falling down off the side and not fully covering. So we'll just go ahead and use this base first, okay? And we'll bring our ornaments here, and we're gonna go ahead and pour our base over the top here. Just let it flow over the top. Try to get each side to where it's covering down. And you can help it with your craft stick, popsicle stick, and help that get covered here. Just wanting to cover all of the ornaments. It looks like we're missing some of this part, and that's okay. This is whenever you get your hands dirty sometimes and get it covered. Oh, see? And sometimes you spill some paint, and that's okay. We'll just clean that up. And also, I keep wet wipes whenever I'm doing the paint pouring or any painting, so that way you can wipe your hands when you need to. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the other colors, and you just need a small cup again. You don't need a lot of paint to cover the ornament. So we're gonna go ahead and start with, this is a pearl white, and I thought just because it's kind of Christmassy and everything and cute, we can go ahead and use that. So we're gonna put this first. Okay. And I'm gonna add a little bit of regular white with that pearl white, just to give it some contrast. And each time you pick up these paints, you wanna kind of stir it just to get it mixed up again, because sometimes it can, it looks like it separates a little bit sometimes. So pour a little blue. And we're on this ornament, I'm working with like blues and greens. I think that'll be really pretty. And we'll go back with the pearl. A little bit of white. We'll do these one more time, and then we'll be done. And that might be like too much paint to cover, but we will find out. We will find out here. And you can use as little or as many colors as you want. If you want to do 2 colors, you can do 2 colors. If you want to do, you know, 8 colors, then do 8 colors. You just do how much you ever want to do. Okay, I'm going to do one more of the white. And if we have some paint left over, we'll just do one of the stars. Okay. Okay, so we got the white base, and then now we're ready to pour on this one. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little stir to kind of swirl the colors a little bit. We're gonna go 1. I kind of go back and forth just a little bit. You can swirl it around if you want to, but don't do it too many times because you don't want to mud up the colors. And that looks really pretty just on the stick like that. And we'll go ahead and start our pour. I just follow around and I just try to look and see. If I haven't got an area, then kind of drift down that area a little bit. And I'm gonna turn this a second. Yeah, I need some over here. And like I said, it gets messy, so you just gotta make sure you protect your surfaces. Okay, I'm gonna do one final pour. And there we go. Looks so pretty. All right, and then that will just flow down. And that's how much paint we had left. We used a lot of paint on this one, but I was trying to make sure it was covered and everything. So it looks good though. It's looking really good. And then sometimes like you want to just make sure the paint's gonna flow off and not touch the ornament to make it stick. So I'm gonna come under here. Just help that paint flow off the side. Okay. Looks good. All right, what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna take one of these stars. I'm gonna get messy here, but I'm gonna go ahead and cover it in this paint that we have left over. And then pour the rest of that paint onto this star. Okay. And then I have these pieces of foam, and I have those to where I can set those on there. And then what I'll do is just paint the backs afterwards. And let's see if we can get some more paint in here. I'll put another piece of foam so you can see what it looks like. That's so cute. Okay, so now we did those colors, and let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so for the next one, let's pour our base. All right, now that we have this covered in the base coat, we're gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna do a little bit of red, a little bit of white, and I want to do a little bit of the pearl here. And a little bit of green. And white. Pearl. And a little bit of green or red, sorry. I'm gonna do some more white. More pearl. And actually I'm gonna do a little bit more red because I kind of want it more red than anything. Looks like this. Really pretty Christmassy colors. All right, and then we're gonna just do like a slight stir because I don't want to mix colors too much. Okay. And then we're gonna pour this over. And I think I poured enough paint, we will see. Kind of reminds me of that like a candy cane or one of those like ribbon candies. Kind of cool looking. Oh, here comes the green. Yep, it's gonna cover. It's covering all the way, I think. Here we go. And once it starts pouring down, if there's like a little part, you can just go over it, you know, with your finger to kind of help the other paint flow a little bit more. That's cool. That's the way the cup looks right here. It's cool looking. Cool looking. Okay, now let's do these 4-inch bulbs here. And this one, I'm gonna go with some bright, nice colors. I'm gonna do some pink. We're going to do some teal or aqua, and let's do some green in there. Go with some white. And pink. Oh, and we have this, I think it's like a peacock blue. It's really pretty. I'll throw some of that in there. And some more white. Pink. Okay, so we're gonna do a little stir. I'm gonna go around here like that. Not a whole bunch, just really light. This is a 4-ounce ramekin and it's like almost halfway full, little under half, so. And whenever you're doing this, you want to like go around the ornament and just look and make sure that you're getting covered on each side here. And if you need to help it out a little bit while it's flowing. I think I might add just a little bit more of this blue here. I kind of like the blue. We'll do some pink, a little bit of the white. Yeah, I really like that blue on there. It was looking really good. And the pink, yeah, I'm liking that a little bit more. So that's gonna flow down. That looks great. Looks really good. And see, like sometimes, like with that one, I stirred very little, and then if you stir a lot more, like let's say, you know, one of these, I think I stirred just a little bit more, maybe the beginning one, it's a little bit more marbled, and this is not as marbled as the other one. So yeah, that one turned out really pretty. Next ornament here, we'll put the base coat on. just want to add like a tad bit more green. And with these colors, what you can do is just like, if you don't like the way it's turned out, right, you just add another color and just kind of keep going until you get the look that you want. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set these out to dry. Once they dry, we'll go ahead and do a clear coat and seal them. Okay, I am outside right now in a well-ventilated area. I have made a box to totally enclose these ornaments in once I'm done sealing them, because I want to make sure that no dust or debris get on them. And also I'm going to be using this Krylon triple thick crystal clear glaze. That's kind of hard to say. I'm going to be using that to seal them and then enclose the box, not touch it for 24 hours. I'm also wearing gloves, and I'm going to be wearing a respirator mask to protect myself. Then once they're done, I'll show you what they look like. Let's get started. All right, let's take a closer look at how beautiful these ornaments turned out. I absolutely love the finish on these. And I do want to make a few suggestions that whatever sealer you choose to use, just follow the manufacturer's instructions, of course. And with this particular one, I did use a respirator mask and gloves to apply the sealer. And then whenever I was drying it, I did go over a little bit on the drying time. And I did put this in a well-ventilated area because it still has a high odor to it when it first starts drying. And then also, if you're sensitive to like a high odor type sealer, just use whatever works for you. And, find something, maybe you have something that you suggest to me. Sometimes I use on my canvases, I use a Liquitex Professional's high gloss varnish, and that looks really beautiful and leaves a really nice finish. And that's not as, doesn't put out as much of an odor. I do still use that one in a well-ventilated area. Oh, and I also wanted to point out that whenever you're spraying the sealer, because these are ornaments and it's not like a flat, even surface, sometimes you might miss a spot or two, which I did, and I just went back and just touched them up, and it wasn't a big deal. I thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment down below what color or theme you plan on going with on your tree this year. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next DIY tutorial.